something like that. The dude from Immortals. I thought Immortals was pretty alright, but the Man of Steel movie, I must say, was easily the best Superman movie I've ever seen. And I say that because I think that the context that they showed the movie in was really awesome, man. I think that they displayed it more so like a realistic story, whereas you could actually picture someone like Superman in the world today, the way that they presented it. You know, how they said that he was an immigrant, and basically Zod was just coming. Well, no spoilers, but I just like the way they realistically presented it to the audience, so you could kind of respect it more, as opposed to a lot more zanier ideas and shit like Iron Man or whatever, which was a good movie. But with Iron Man, it's like they downplay a lot of the serious tone and go for a lot of jokes and shit. And that's one thing I really like about the Batmans.
Got them city for the ghetto.
And also for the tone of the Superman movie. I hope when they expand into Justice League, they keep some of those same elements as well. But as y'all know, that Green Lantern movie was booty. Back to Superman. A few things I go by when I check out a movie, especially something with a superhero. Everybody who know me know I fuck with comic movies like shit. That's my shit. Of course, I fuck with gangster movies. I feel sorry for your mother. But man, realistically, I think that with the Man of Steel movie, they nailed it. I think to have a successful comic movie, you have to have a good villain, and I think that the guy who portrayed General Zod was effective and intense, and I think that's a couple of things that they should have captured, and I'm glad that they did. He also had a bunch of henchmen, which always makes for some cool shit in sci-fi. They actually touched on a few things I didn't like about the Thor movie. See, if you think about the Thor movie, it had I mean, it was just all scatterbrained. I mean, I know with Thor you're dealing with a whole different universe because he's like Asgardian / Avenged out or whatever, but it's like so unbelievable that you can't really follow it. And one thing that I thought was really lacking in the Thor movie, which is probably going to be lacking in the second one, is that even when you have a villain who's more of a mental villain, more of a foil to a character, you have to present something else for your character to overcome physically. And I felt like this movie did both of those. And I can give you an example. And something like The Dark Knight, for example. You know Joker's physically not a match for Batman, but so in order to overcompensate for that, the Joker set up a number of things to fuck with Batman, not just emotionally, but psychologically and morally. Starting with the detonators on the two boats or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's something that Batman couldn't even go and save both of them. And the Joker basically gave everyone the illusion of choice. And although Batman could go at any time and go grab the Joker up and whoop his ass and throw him in Arkham Asylum or something like that, it's because you had him set up Harvey Dent and Batman's love interest. That makes it a more climactic scene because he had to actually overcome something beyond just beating the Joker. And I think that with the General Zod, they not only had a device like that or something like those little world destroyers or whatever, that big spider looking shit that they had come down on the planet or whatever, start pumping it or whatever. I feel like that was pretty dope to see Superman overcome that physically. And then the past the threshold where he actually was able to go that final battle with Zod or whatever. Once again, no spoilers, almost slipped it up. And I thought that final battle was really telling, not only of Superman's character, but the way that the entire movie wrapped up in that final climactic scene. The way it built up to that climactic scene, I thought was epic. But to get back to the Thor comparison, when you had Thor, you also have Loki, right? And Loki is a character that's kind of like the Joker, where Loki will never be able to rival Thor physically, but he can do other things and use his cunning and his skills in manipulation and lying and getting other people to do the dirty work for him, which is really a staple of what Loki does to terrorize Thor throughout most of Thor's life or whatever. He enlists other people. And my thing is that in the Thor movie, which don't get me wrong, I kind of vaguely remember it, but I remember he was fighting. I remember a couple of things that were just bad about it. Like the characters between Thor and his love interest, they never really established any type of chemistry that made you really care. It was like they were just kind of thrown together and you're supposed to care about it, but nobody really did, I don't think. At least I didn't. And when he fights I don't even remember what the villain was, but it was some big ass 8-foot armor looking thing, which I can't even remember the purpose of. But at the end of the day, knowing how powerful Thor is, I don't think that's a good I don't think that's really a formidable opponent for Thor in the first place. And I think if Loki's going to use his manipulations and all his little tricks, because he's supposed to be a trickster or whatever, he could have came up with something way better than that to take over Asgard. As we saw how the lumps he went in Avengers, which really drove the entire Avengers movie, because if you really think about it, that Avengers movie was driven by Tony Stark and Loki throughout the whole damn movie. Which is dope, because that movie was dope too. But back to Superman 3. In Superman movies, I gotta rank it number 1. To me, it's better than all the Christopher Reeve ones, just strictly off the special effects and how they display the flying, which is incredible. And the fight scenes, especially the one at the end, which does remind you a lot of Matrix Revolutions or whatever, but that's excusable. That's kind of what they made the Matrix for, was to open up the door for stuff like this. So that's what's up. So out of the pantheon of comic book movies, I think somewhere after Sin City and after Watchmen and after The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises and after really the newest Spider-Man movie, and probably the first one of the last series. I think this will rank in the top 10. Of course, you gotta give credit to Christopher Reeves. I think another cat, Tom Welling, portrays Superman pretty good, and if they really let him explore the character more, or they didn't have as many restrictions as far as the suit and the logo and the tights and all of that, I think the guy who played on Smallville would have made a great Superman, not just Superboy. So, all in all, what am I giving Man of Steel? I'm giving it 4.5 out of 5, because it kept me interested, had a great villain. They got Superman's character spot on in terms of the traditional values of Superman and the character that we got or whatever, and they kept it from being whack. So I gotta give it a 4.5. And the only reason I'm not giving it a 5 is because I didn't see the first half hour of the movie. Kind of got to driving late. Then the movie kind of fucked up in the middle of it. You know, when you're watching the movie and all of a sudden shit fucks up real quick. Yeah, it was something like that. But it is what it is. That's just my review of Superman, aka Man of Steel, summer blockbuster, which I'm probably anticipating is going to be the best movie I've seen this year. I mean, this shit happened with Dark Knight Rises last year and Dark Knight whatever year that came out. So DC's pretty spot on. But if you want to hear more, check me out on Instagram. Don't be like Ryan. Though it's not hearing more, that's seeing more, but it is what it is. Don't be like Ryan on Instagram, Twitter, and on SoundCloud. Be like Ryan, straight up. Check out my tracks too. And the next movie I'm gonna review is gonna be World War Z. Let's get it.